Don't think sorry's easily said. The fact that they locked mom's house on the advice of a bunch of domestic terrorists, and the fact that I submitted a 90-day freeze on everything pretty much wipes out the executorship. Now, in all fairness, I do not know what you do at this point. Now that the executorship has been completely and utterly destroyed, I don't know what you do at this point. Does the court issue another executor, or do they just absolve it and finally give the ship back to me, which it should have been in the first damn place, which is preferable, of course, because of the fact that, like I said, I have my dear Saint Mother on video saying the Frosts were never supposed to be in charge of any of her shit, ever. Not a zip. This whole last year or two, the Frosts were not supposed to be involved in her affairs at all. They manipulated her and controlled her, which, by the way, is a violation of wills and trusts, because a person cannot be coerced into doing something they don't want to do. That's Kentucky law. Okay, so your will and your trust, and that's all gone. It's destroyed. Mom is on video saying she did not want the Frosts involved in her affairs. So obviously, the Frosts have manipulated her and controlled her into doing what she's done, which is a complete and utter violation of the law, which means the will and the trust do not exist. I don't give a damn what happened. I don't care if Moses himself comes down here and says, yeah, by God, I want that will. Sorry, sorry. You cannot manipulate someone into doing something against their will. That is not legal. All right. That is not legal. So, no, the will and the trust, no matter how you spin it, I mean, I can go at this 5, 6 different ways and it still won't be legal. No, because it's not. And that's just the truth. Okay, so now that the will and the trust are completely and totally destroyed, it can finally be put back in my name. Everything can be put back in my name, which means that the Frosts will now have to cough up mom's $7 million, whether they like it or not. Oh, I'm keeping the money for safekeeping, he said on the phone. At first, his claim was, oh, I'm just holding on to the money for safekeeping. This is James Arnold Frost speaking in front of witnesses. Okay, the idea is, oh, well, he never really stole money from my mother. Well, okay, well, then how come we have him on 2 occasions in front of witnesses admitting that he did? Oh, because he did steal money. Okay, so we have him on the first occasion, though. Oh, well, I'm just holding on to the money for safekeeping. Okay, well, that's wonderful. Well, now you're going to have to cough the money back up and give it back to me. Okay, all 7.5 million of it. Now, if you've already spent a great deal of that money, well, then you're going to have to give me the Cessna property to compensate. Now, aren't you? Yes, you are. That's just the way things are. Sorry. And like we said, when Mom died, Larry's POA died, which means he's nothing but an ordinary citizen, and that ordinary citizen owes me $15,000 in back rent. I'd like to have that money, please. If you don't mind, I'd like to have that money, please. But yes, last I checked, the executor does not do things because a bunch of fuckwads on the internet tell them to. That's not the purpose of an executor. And now that I have a copy of that video where they clearly tell them what to do, I'm still not even 100% sure the document they produced yet the other day was even legitimate anyway. But we're going to call and we're going to verify that too. But irregardless of the motive or the intent or the action, it's still fraudulent. Okay. It is still fraudulent. You do not have the right to manipulate an elderly person into doing something they normally would not do. And I have my mother on video saying that the Frosts were never to be involved in her affairs, and that everything, and I mean everything, her accounting, her final affairs, her burial, everything was to be handled by, quote, her son, unquote. Not her grandchildren, not a bunch of distant relatives. Her son was supposed to handle everything. I've got her on video. When she was lucid, I might add. So don't start with the dementia shit and all this other bullshit. She never had dementia anyway. They just pumped her full of damn psychotropic drugs. Well, single drug. It was one drug. Then man team. You can Google that if you like. Very powerful psychotropic drug. And they pumped her full of it. Why? Because they didn't want her testifying in court. That's why. Plain and simple. Anyway, enough about the bullshit here locally because it is bullshit. But I just wanted to get that out because no matter how you spin this, the fucking will and the trust. I mean, seriously, does any moron out there with a brain the size of a pea believe that anyone can live on $250 a month? Fuck no. That right there should tell you that it's a sham document. And a high-ranking prosecuting attorney is not going to tell them, Miss Help, this is 2022, not 1950. He can't live on 250 a month. He's got to have a decent living. Okay, so no, it's all bullshit. It's all because any competent attorney is going to correct my mother and say, no, you mean 2,500, not 250, because you can't live on 250. Okay, so yeah, it's a sham document. It's always been a sham document. And like I said, my mom never even started no damn trust, let alone finish the will. Okay, so no, you can't coerce the elderly into doing something they don't want to do. Okay, that is a violation of law. So the will and the trust are they're gone. Poof, they're totally gone. No matter how you spin it, no matter how you try to justify it, you cannot manipulate an elderly person what they're not going to do. Period. End of story. Okay, so the will and the trust are gone, no matter how you spin this. But I wanted to get that out of the way because there might be some lingering, people. There might be some people still lingering on whether or not the will and the trust are valid. No, absolutely. Okay, in fact, one of the main tenets of contesting a will and a trust is was this person coerced? Well, I have my mother on video saying the Frosty is supposed to be doing shit with her affairs, that her son is supposed to be. Okay, so if that's not happening, then that means she was manipulated. Clearly, open and shut. Open and shut, mom was manipulated into doing what she did. That's there's no question about that. And you notice how angry she got when I mentioned the fact that the Frost had manipulated her and are accusing her of saying that, I've done all this evil shit. I have done it. Notice how she got very aggressive with that. Okay, that right there should be your first clue that I never manipulated her. She wasn't under the influence of anything. She was not, she has not had dementia or anything. She became very animated when I said that the Frost had been given control of her stuff. And she was adamant, no, they were not supposed to have control of my stuff. My son is supposed to have control of my stuff. Okay, that right there will tell you, you can look at a person's body language and tell if they're being controlled or manipulated in any way. And clearly, when she became animated like that, that's your first clue right there that no, she was not. She was telling you the absolute truth. She did not want the Frost involved in her shit at all. And for the Frost to manipulate the elderly like that is a crime, a real one, with dire consequences, I might add, because it means all the Frost could very well go to prison. You can't manipulate an elderly person and do it into coughing up all their money. Okay, see, that's the thing. And not only that, not only did they get all my inheritance money, but remember, they coerced the courts to give Larry Frost, a convicted criminal, every dime of my mother's SSI and stimulus as well. Okay, Larry got thousands of dollars of stimulus checks of my mother and blew it all. He's on record on video stating he gave that money to a college to put his son into college. He's on video stating, be sure for your sins will find you out. Isn't that what the Bible says, Christians? Yes. Okay, so yeah, he's on video saying that. Well, you can't do that. That's a violation of a POA right there. You can't do that. You can't use the money for your own purposes. That is a violation of the POA. Duh. It's just like James Frost. James Frost um, took all that inheritance money. Oh, I'm keeping it for safekeeping, he said. At first he said that. Well, now wait a minute. If you're keeping it for safekeeping, how's come you're spending it like water? No, no. If you're in control of someone's money, you can't spend it on yourself. You can't do that. That's illegal. Your duty as a POA is to hold that money for that person and their affairs, not for your own. You can't spend it on yourself, which the both Frosts are clearly guilty of. See that, because people have come to me, they said, well, how do you know the POA is illegal? I know the POA is illegal because they spent the money on themselves. You can't do that. That's illegal. The POA is not allowed to spend the money on themselves. That is totally and completely illegal. And both Frosts did it. James Arnold Frost did it, and Larry Frost did it. Okay? Can't do that. That's not legal. Sorry, it's not legal. Okay? But I wanted to get that out because, there might be some lingering doubts in some people's minds as to the validity of all this shit. Well, I'm sorry, but there is no validity to it. None, zero. Not only did I put a motion before the court and they violated it, but also the fact that they manipulated my mother into doing shit that she normally would not do. And I have her on video stating that very fact. Okay, so no, there's some their will, their trust, and their executorship poof, just all went up in a puff of smoke. Like I said the other day, this went up in a puff of smoke. The will, the trust, whatever the hell you want to call it, does not exist. It's been completely and utterly destroyed. Okay, it hasn't just been put to the side; it's been completely and utterly destroyed. Now, unfortunately, they could just make another one, but they can't use the Frost to do it if they do. Okay, so they're pretty much screwed. If the court wants to try another trust, they cannot use the Frost in any way because they've shown their intent to do malice towards my mother. Okay, that's been clearly established. So the Frosts are done. Now, if the court does want to have a legitimate uh, executor, they don't have to be a neutral party, and then we don't have to worry about the Frosts coming and changing my damn locks or trying to shut off my electricity or kick me off the fucking property. You still got YouTube trolls that we're going to kick you off that property in 30 to 90 days. No, you ain't either. No, you ain't either because will and the trust just went poof. It just went up in a puff of smoke. So no, you're not. And like I said, since we have my mother on video saying Frost ain't supposed to be involved in a damn thing, and that clearly she was manipulated, then that only leaves everything coming to me and the Frost returning everything back to me like it should have been in the first damn place. And I want every dime of it too, every last penny. I want every last penny of all that money, all 7.5 million. The money that Larry got from Mom's SSI and stimulus checks. I want it all. I want every penny of it because I have to have it. I have to have it to put Mom's affairs for. The nice thing though is that all Mom's bills were caught up pretty much. She doesn't have any outstanding loans. She doesn't have any legal problems whatsoever. All of her shit's been paid off a long time ago. So really, there is nothing for the executive to really do other than to just catch the bills up and then go home. That's it. Well, hell, that's what, a couple months at the most. So yeah, and if I'm the executor, I already know what shit she's got and what she ain't got, and it doesn't matter either way because it's all my property anyway. As of 2007. Oh wait, we forgot about that little wrinkle, didn't we? Yeah. See, when Mom relinquished her POA back in 2007, she didn't just relinquish the POA over Daddy's stuff. She relinquished the POA over her stuff too. Why? Because her and Dad went to Clayton's office and made everything one big pile. Well, when you do that and then you relinquish the POA, that one big pile, guess where it goes? Oh, it comes to me. Bada boom, bada bing, baby. It's all mine as of 2007. See, we forgot about that little wrinkle, didn't we? Yeah, well, I did. And I can assure you the courts will hear about that little wrinkle too. Okay, so no, they have absolutely no power whatsoever. None. The gods pretty much put them right into a trap to where that they now are going to have to scramble to try and keep out of jail. And they better be more concerned about keeping their butts out of jail than worried about me and mine, right? Because that's the next shoe to drop. is all the Frosts going to jail. And what did I promise you, trolls? I said, when the Frosts all go to jail, you trolls are next. For those of you that are still alive, because the gods apparently seem to be killing all of you motherfuckers for some crazy reason. But for those of you that are alive, you're going to go to prison. Okay? So stay tuned, trolls. You're next. After the Frosts all go to prison, you guys are next. Okay? So hang in there, boys and girls. But yeah, the will and the trust are they're completely and utterly destroyed.